Welcome to Walkers in August Yoga. Today's flow is a hip opener and will help strengthen our legs and bring space into our practice. I had some requests for driving yoga, people that maybe feel scrunched in the car or if you're scrunched in your office at work. This flow is great to help open up the hips and bring strength into the quads and hamstrings. Let's begin with our breathing, sitting down on your mat. Finding a way to open up the hips. Here are some options. You can bring the soles of your feet together in a Baddha Konasana butterfly posture. You can sit with knees to the sky, back on your sit bones. If it's comfortable for you, knees can be forward and down, sitting back on your heels. And you may wish to put a block or two or a pillow underneath you in any of these postures for your seat. Take a moment to find a wide-legged sitting posture that works for you, maybe shuffling back and forth in your seat to find balance and gently waking up the hips. Anytime that you start your yoga practice on your mat, drop into your breathing, drop into your practice, focusing on your mat, your body, and your breath. Imagine a couple things that have been distracting you today, maybe a problem you're working on, your schedule later for today, busy things that are taking up space in your mind. Acknowledge them and then let them go. There's nothing you need to do except for be on your mat and in your practice right now. Listening to your inhales and exhales. Feeling your belly expand on your inhale and feeling it deflate in your exhale. I always like to pair a breathing technique with our practice, and today we will try alternate nostril breathing or Nadi Shodhana, helping to create balance in our body. Our left and right sides are dynamic. The left side is more feminine, cooling, and associated with the moon. And the right side is more hot, masculine, and associated with the sun. And by breathing through one nostril at a time on the right and left, we create balance from side to side, helping us to find balance in our bodies and ultimately our life. Begin by having your 3 middle fingers down and your pinky and thumb out to the side, or any other way that you can isolate 2 fingers and put one on either side of your nose, alternating back and forth. Let's begin with the thumb over our right nostril, closing the nostril so only your left nostril is open. If you have a cold, you might want to keep some tissues around. Inhale through left nostril. Close both, using your 2 fingers to close both nostrils, and exhale through your right nostril. Inhale through right nostril. Close both, and exhale through left nostril. Inhale through left nostril. Close both. Exhale through right nostril. Inhale through right nostril. Close both. Exhale through left nostril. Continue alternate nostril breathing, toggling your hand back and forth, isolating your different nostrils. It's also an option to not close both in the middle, breathing in through right, out through left, and no need to close both in the middle, especially if you're expecting. Completing one more round, in through right, out through left, in through left, out through right. And imagine that you're creating balance between both sides of your body in your breath. And when you finish, releasing your hands down, fingers wide open, palms on your knees. And let's gently step out of the wide-legged posture, maybe patting your feet if you've been sitting on them, and swinging your feet around if they were behind you so both knees are to the sky. Sitting back on your sit bones, knees to the sky, engaging your abs, and allowing your knees to fall over to the right side. Hand support as you look over your right shoulder. Inhale, knees to the sky. Exhale, over to the left, gazing over your left shoulder. Continue this motion, inhaling, knees up, and exhaling, knees down. I've heard these called 90-90s. They are a great way to wake up the hips and spine. And you can use the floor almost like a foam roller, moving from side to side. And if you find a spot that feels really good on your glutes, you can stay there and use your hands to rock back and forth, working out that knot. Again, we're creating balance here, working from side to side. If you want to take a little extra twist on each side, placing one hand on the knee, one hand behind you, and gently looking over that shoulder. Or maybe it feels good to stay right in the middle, rocking back and forth, getting used to your hips and your body and the openness that you want to find today. Take one more on each side, and then I'll meet you with knees to the sky. With our knees up high, we'll transition into a wide-legged child's pose. Coming onto our mats, hands are toward the front of the mat, knees are toward the sides of your mat. Having a wide-legged knee position here allows our hips to open, and using our hands, gently walking down to our forearms, and then extending our arms. Forehead comes to the mat. You may want to place a block, bolster, or blanket underneath your forehead to create that support. Again, moving back and forth slightly, wiggling in the hips. Listening to your body here. How wide do I want my knees? Some of us have very open and wide knees naturally, and in that case, you might want to come in just a little bit so you don't overextend yourself. And some of us are more tight, and you can gently loosen up using your inhales and exhales. Inhale coming in, and then exhale going a little deeper. Using your breath to extend your practice. Take 3 more deep breaths here, and now is a great time to set the intention for your practice. Maybe you want to dedicate your practice to somebody. Maybe there's something you're looking for on your mat, a certain posture. Or maybe there's something you want to let go of. Whatever it is, be generous with yourself and generous with your practice. Always looking to find balance. Use your hands to walk yourself up onto all fours, coming up gently. Your hips have been open, so giving them some space here. And we'll move into cat-cows. Finding a neutral tabletop, wrists, elbows, and shoulders are aligned. Slight bend in your elbows so we don't hyperextend. Knees are below hips. Toes untucked. Inhale for cow, gazing forward, neutral neck. Exhale for cat, rounding our back, pushing down with our hands, gaze toward navel. Inhale, cow, chest comes forward. Exhale, cat, tuck of tailbone. Inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. Following this rhythm, you can use different positions with your wrists. Fingers can point out to either side, wrists toward the middle. Wrists can point forward with your fingers pointing back to your knees. Using your weight to move backward and forward. Waking up our wrists here. Taking a lot of space with our breaths and allowing our breath to help slow us down. Coming back into that neutral tabletop, aiming for alignment in wrists, elbows, shoulders, knees below hips, and a neutral neck means that we're neither arching our neck up or looking under. We have a neck that's straight and open, allowing us to breathe. And we'll come into cat-cows on either side. First, planting the left hand and the right knee so we're able to extend. Tucking the right toes will give you stability here. Extend right arm forward, gazing toward the thumb. Extend left leg back. Slight arch in the back like a cow. Inhale up. Exhale, come together, round back like cat. That's 1. Out. 2. Inhale out. Exhale 3. Inhale out, reaching long. Exhale 3. 4. Inhale out. This is 5. Let's cactus our right arm out to the side and fire hydrant or bend at 90 degrees our left foot, bringing them out and then back in. Finding neutral table, we'll repeat on the left side, planting your right hand and your left knee, tucking left toes, neutral neck. Inhale out, gazing forward. Exhale, come together. Inhale out. Exhale, come together. 3, out, find length. Crunch, come together. 4, inhale long, gazing past fingers. Exhale, come together. Number 5, inhaling long, cactus the left arm and the right knee out to the side and coming back down. Beautiful. Neutral tabletop, coming back to your breath, working our abs there. Knees go out to the side of your mat once again. You can dip back into the widening child's pose just for a beat. Then inhale up, pressing your hands on the mat, allowing your chest to move forward and down, finding a frog, Mandukhasana. In frog, our knees are out to the side and your feet are on the mat. If your feet want to lift, you can bring your knees in slightly closer together, or you could also place blocks under the feet. Hip bones are on the mat. Knees on the mat, pointing out to the sides of your mat. And eventually belly and forehead can come to the floor. You can always use your props, the block, to support your forehead and chest. Finding some rest here. Releasing your hands. This is a restorative posture. We're looking for sinking into the posture and holding nothing in tension. Take 5 more deep breaths in frog. Coming back to your intention and releasing into the posture. Plant your hands and push yourself back into the wide-legged child's pose just for a beat. Then lift up, use your hands to come into a yogi squat toward the back of your mat. Balls of the feet and toes are on the mat. Hands can be down to find some stability. And your feet are, again, toward the outside edges of your mat. It's tempting to want to round our backs and scrunch down, especially if your hips are wide. And you can gain some height by placing your hands on blocks and engaging your abs and back muscles to lift yourself up. Using prayer hands to center yourself. Seeing if you can come up on your toes, lifting just a little bit. We'll be here for about 10 to 15 breaths, perfect as you are if you want to stay right here, and I'll cue some variations. Allow your right elbow to come to your right knee, opening up to the left side, gazing over left shoulder. Releasing back to center. Left elbow to left knee, gazing over right shoulder. Coming back to center. To the right side again. Right elbow to right knee. Right arm extends and reaches forward. Bends and wraps around the right knee. Left arm opens up and reaches around behind the back, maybe binding with the right hand, or you could use a strap to help close that distance, gazing over your left shoulder. We're opening the chest here. And release, bringing your arms out to a T, coming back to center. Repeating on the left side, left elbow to left knee, left arm lengthens and reaches behind the knee, right arm extends, reaching behind the back, interlocking and binding with the left hand, or you can use a strap to close that distance, gazing over your right shoulder. Finding some stillness here. And release, bringing arms to a T, coming back to center. If you're still in the center, you may want to try going up and down a little bit, creating some motion so you don't feel stagnant, or shifting from side to side, always bringing the chest up and forward. Again, to the right side, find that bind again, shifting your left foot more toward the center of your mat, and we'll try a lift here. If you do have that bind on the right side, let's try standing up on the left leg. Take your time, really squeeze your bind, find your drishti, something to look at, and come into your breath. When you're up high, finding stability on your left foot. Standing up straight, you can move your right ankle in a circle, scrunching your toes, and feeling playful in this position. Breathing deeply, and then eventually lowering down with control, placing your right toes back on the mat, and releasing the bind. Let's try on the left side. Right foot comes into the center, that's the foot we're going to lift up on. Left arm reaches around and behind the knee, the left knee, right arm behind. Setting ourselves up for success. Find your stability and drishti, and with confidence lift. me, I feel more strong and balanced on my right leg, my dominant leg. And doing a posture on both sides allows us to create balance and see any of our imbalances that are naturally in our body. And the thing about balance is we will always be a little bit out of balance, but that is part of the greater balance. All right. Back in Malasana, let's lift on both feet 5 times. On tiptoes, inhale up. Exhale down with control. Inhale up like an elevator. On tiptoes, exhale down. Inhale up, engage glutes. Exhale down. Number 4, inhale up. Straight spine, bring chest forward. Exhale down. Last one, inhale up. Find some expression in your arms. Exhale down. Good work with the Malasana squats. Let's find little donkey hops. Fire hops to the front of our mat, placing your hands down and kicking your feet behind you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more, 5. If it's in your practice, you can crow here, placing your hands on the mat, wide fingers, coming up on the balls of your feet and allowing just below your knees to come just above your elbows. Bringing feet together, shifting weight forward, toes touch, and then you can shoot your feet back into Chaturanga. Woo! Inhale up, exhale down dog. In down dog for 5 breaths. And step or jump your feet behind your hands. Inhale, pressing hands down, long spine, neutral neck. Exhale, crown to the ground, bend your knees. Tuck your chin, inhale, come all the way up. In our standing posture, find the top of your mat. Feet are hips distance apart. Placing your heels down the sides of your feet, the balls of your feet, wiggle your toes, place toes down. Wobble knees back and forth, finding a slight bend in your knee. Maybe some hip circles. And arms down by the sides. We'll do a modified sun salutation A, followed by a modified sun salutation B, linking breath to movement. Inhale, arms up to the sky, gaze up. Exhale, hinge at hips, hands to the ground. Inhale, straighten spine, gaze forward. Exhale, plant your hands, jump back. Lower Chaturanga, elbows backward. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Pressing your hands forward. Heels move toward the mat. Gentle tuck of navel and gaze toward your navel. Shifting left leg to the center. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Bending your right knee and finding circles and hip openers in both directions, right and left. Small, medium, and large circles. Right hip opens and moves up to the sky. Option to flip your dog, allowing your right foot to come up and over you, hips lift. Coming back to the 3-legged dog. Bringing knee into chest. And right leg goes through to the left side in a fallen star. Option to keep that right leg lifted. Looking for a T in our arms. and release back to the three-legged dog. Lowering the right leg down. Right foot moves toward the center. Left foot up to the sky. Bending your left knee and opening the hip, moving in circles on either side. Right and left, small, medium, and large. Option to flip your dog. Hips to the sky. Coming back into three-legged dog on the left. Left knee comes into chest and over and through to the right in a fallen star. Right leg left leg can lift off the ground, or it can be on the ground. Coming back to three-legged dog. Left foot down. Let's pedal out our feet in our down dog for 5 breaths. After your next exhale, jump or step your feet to your hands. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, crown to the ground. Inhale, straighten legs, straighten spine. Exhale, crown to the ground. Tuck your chin and rise up. All the way to standing once again. One of the reasons we tuck our chin is that we can get dizzy as we rise up. If you get dizzy, stay still. Keep your head above your heart, and you can sink down to the ground if you need to. Finding the top of our mat once again. For a modified sun salutation B, feet come together this time to prepare for chair pose. Toes together, heels slightly apart, creating a slice of triangle between your feet. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, sit in your chair. Finding a little cat-cow in your back to find the tuck that works for your body today. Option to come up on toes. And heels down. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, plant your hands, feet jump back. And lower to chaturanga. Elbows back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right toes behind right wrist. And take your time to rise up in a warrior one on the right side. Right toes point to the top of your mat. Right knee coming into a 90-degree angle. Hips and shoulders energetically pointing forward. Slight bend in the back knee. Left toes out to a 45-degree angle. Find expression in your arms, can be prayer in front of you or behind you. Inhale, chest up, look up. Exhale, hands on either side of your right foot. In a runner's lunge. Option to drop the left knee and to move back and forth in your runner's lunge. You can also keep your toes tucked. Finding some movement here in the hips and legs. Eventually left knee drops and allow yourself to sit back on your heel. Right toes are toward the sky, sitting on our left heel. Coming into our breath. Finding balance. At your next exhale, plant your hands and inhale, rise back up into a runner's lunge. Hands on either side of the right foot. And we will vinyasa back to a down dog. Planting our hands down, right foot goes back and stay lifted as you lower down. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left toes behind the left wrist. Orient the right toes at a 45-degree angle and take your time to rise into a warrior one on the left side. Shoulders and hips to the front of your mat. Left knee coming into a 90-degree angle. Find expression in your hands that works for you. If you want a little shoulder opening, chest opening, hands can go behind you. Inhale, gaze up, chest up. Exhale, plant your hands on either side of your left foot in that runner's lunge and start rocking back and forth. Eventually, right knee plants and lowering back, sitting on your right heel, left toes to the sky. Flat back, hinging over the left leg, hands on either side of the left shin, gazing at toes. Our toes are something that we often overlook in life. And in yoga, we get to gaze at them often. Maybe you want to offer your toes some love, whether that's through touch, gentle massage, or cleaning your nails. Maybe adding a little color. After your next exhale, inhale, rise up into the runner's lunge. Tucking the right toes and lifting up. Vinyasa to down dog. Left leg lifts, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. In the down dog here for 5 breaths. Bringing feet to the outside of your mat, heels on mat, toes pointing out to the sides. Use your hands to walk you back. Right foot to left ankle, arms open out to a T. Exhale, come down. Left hand to right ankle, arms open up to a T to the right side. Placing hands on the ground, shifting back and forth. And then eventually arms move forward and step or jump feet to hands. Inhale, straighten spine, gaze forward. Exhale, crown to the ground. Tucking your chin, inhale, rising up. Anticipating a chair pose to close our sun salutation beat. Toes together, heels slightly apart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, sitting in your chair. Maybe you find a lower chair this time. Maybe you come up on toes. Hands to prayer is a great balancer. And release, heels down, standing tall once again. Finding the top of your mat. We'll come into our flow before our restorative seated postures. 5 breaths here on your own to grab water, catch your breath, move around a little bit. And recommitting to your practice. Equal standing posture at the top of your mat. Palms open and forward, inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, roll shoulders back. Slight bend in the knee. Inhale, right foot steps back. Revolve to the back of your mat. Arms open to a T. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Right hand reaches down and forward. Releasing onto your shin or a block. Left arm up to the sky. Make sure your left arm doesn't drift backward but stays straight up. Gazing at your left palm in a triangle pose. After next exhale, one more inhale, full expression. Exhale, bend your right knee, right elbow to right knee in a side angle posture, creating that diagonal line from the knife edge of your left foot all the way up your side to your left fingertips where your gaze is. Option here to take bird of paradise. Right arm sinks down, finding behind your right leg. Left leg steps up, and with confidence, woo, you rise. Bird of paradise, just like we did with the Malasana lifts. Different on each side. Working to straighten our back. And with control, releasing down. Back in side angle posture, we'll move into a half moon. Planting your right foot, gazing toward your right toes. Right hand goes toward the mat, maybe on a block, the floor, or staying lifted. Back left leg lifts. Chest and hips opening to the left side. Find your drishti, your point of focus. Option to bend your left knee and grab the left ankle in a bound half moon posture. Still with left leg lifted. Chest and hips spiral to the back of the mat into a warrior three. Engaging your feet and glutes, finding strength and lift in your chest. Exhale. Inhale, full expression. Exhale, hands frame your foot. Left leg lifts to the sky in a standing splits. Allowing the left foot to drop and using your hands to come to the long side of your mat in a skandasana, moving back and forth before we repeat on the left side. Revolving to now the front of our mat. Left toes are pointing forward, right toes at a 45-degree angle. Take your time to lift up. Arms out to a T. Inhale. Exhale, hinging left. Fingers reach over the left toes and down. Right hip out to the side. Using a block for your left hand if you like. Arms to a T. Gazing up to the right hand. Spiraling chest open. Breathing deeply. Inhale, full expression. Exhale, bend your left knee. Left elbow to left knee. Creating that diagonal from right side of foot to right fingertips in a side angle posture. Gazing toward right hand. Bird of paradise on this side. Right arm comes behind. Left arm drops, finding the bind. Right foot steps up, plants, and with control, lift. Whew. Not stable today. That's okay. Different days, different poses. Finding my drishti. Little wobbly today. That's okay. Release the posture. Back in side angle pose. Coming into warrior three. Chest and hips shifting to the front of our mat. Planting the left foot. Right toes lift. Chest comes forward. Arms find expression. Gazing down, find your drishti. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, plant your hands. Coming into a standing split on the left side. Right toes come down. And we will vinyasa to a seat. Plank. Lower down. Elbows behind you. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, child's pose. That wide-legged child's pose. There's always a nice release going from the standing postures to seated postures. And an opportunity to come back to our breath. Inhale, press up. I just realized we forgot half moon on the left side. That's something you can add on at the end of your practice if you like. Practicing from triangle, side angle, bird of paradise, half moon, warrior three to standing split. From all fours, bring your right leg forward into a pigeon posture. Right shin is parallel or diagonal to the top of your mat, depending on how far you'd like your right heel to be from your hips. Hips pointing forward. Walk your hands down and forward if you like. You're perfect as you are lifted in pigeon. You can use blocks to support your hands as you walk yourself down. Opening up the right hip. If it's in your practice, bending your left leg and allowing your left toes to come into the crook of your left elbow, right arm up and around behind you, binding with left and looking forward for mermaid. Releasing down. Getting the full expression and extension of your pigeon on this side. And then we'll switch to the left. You can either bring your left leg around or you can revolve to the back of your mat. Either way, so that we're on pigeon on our left. Hips, shoulders, and gaze pointing forward. Left knee toward the left side of our mat and right toes finding a space where you're getting your hip open. I usually like my shin to be parallel to the top of the mat, but some people prefer the heel in closer to the hip. Inhale, chest up, and then option to come forward into more of a sleeping pigeon. You will feel a greater stretch in your hip as you move forward. You can use a block here to place your forehead on the block. Pigeon brings up a lot of different emotions for people, allowing those emotions to come, reading them, and then letting them go. If you want to try mermaid on the left side, use your hands to walk you up, bending the right knee. Right toes find the crook of your right elbow in a quad stretch. Left arm comes up and behind, finding a bind and a little frame for your head as you look forward. Creating a nice, compact, and dynamic shape. And release down. Taking a final bow in left pigeon. Right toes come forward. Now you're pointing to the front of your mat. In Dandasana, staff posture. Toes to the sky. Engaged legs. Shoulders up and back, hands plant behind you, chest forward. Here for 5 breaths. And release. Hugging in your right knee. cradling your right knee, maybe you put your left foot and left elbow, and rocking back and forth. We've done a lot of great hip openers today and offering your right hip some love. Eventually placing your right foot down along your left leg, giving a couple inches of space in between so you can reach your right arm forward. Option to bind behind your right knee. Left arm comes around, finding that bind like we did today in Malasana lifts and Bird of Paradise. You can also use a strap to find this bind or simply hug in the knee and fold forward. Perfect wherever you are in your practice. After your next exhale, rise up, arms up to the sky, placing your right hand behind you, hugging in your right knee with your left arm, and gazing over the right shoulder for a twist. Make sure your left toes are still pointing to the sky and your foot is engaged. And releasing shoulders, neck, and gaze. Come forward again. Right leg straightens back into staff posture. Thanks, love. Hugging left knee in, we'll cradle on the left side. Maybe you can place your left foot in the crook of your right elbow and rocking back and forth. Gently placing your foot down. Between the left foot and the right knee, there's a couple inches, so you can lift. As you're reaching with your left hand, the left sit bone can lift. Left arm around your left knee, right arm can bind behind. You can also use a strap or simply hug in the knee for this stretch. Folding over the right leg. Your inhales can pull you up slightly, and exhales allow you to fold forward. Focusing on keeping a flat back as opposed to going farther with a rounded back or neck. And release down. Inhale up to the sky. Right arm hugs the right knee as left hand goes behind your back. Right toes are still to the sky, gazing over your left shoulder. And releasing back forward. Coming into butterfly posture or Baddha Konasana. Maybe you were in this at the start of your practice, feet together. First, trying to fold with a straight back, and then you can allow yourself to round gently, crown toward the ground. Exhale out all of your air, and then inhale, use your hands to press yourself up. And start leaning back. You can keep the butterfly in your feet, going back onto forearms. If you'd like, you can place a block behind your back and your head, vertical along your spine and horizontal on your head in a T, into a Supta Baddha Konasana shape. Lying back all the way down on your mat, knees out to the side. You can also place blocks under both of your knees here. This is the last guided posture before Shavasana. You're welcome to stay here for your final rest if you like. You may also want to transition into a happy baby, bringing your toes in and rocking from back and forth, loosening your hips. Maybe feet come to the sky, still holding onto your toes. Maybe you push up into a shoulder stand and plow. Any final postures that you need to find your rest. As you're lying back in your Shavasana, think about some ways in your life that you would like to find balance. We found balance in our practice today through alternate nostril breathing, through postures on our right and our left side, and understanding that imbalances, when we can't do something the same on each side, or we have our strengths and weaknesses in life, that imbalance is actually part of the balance of life. You're welcome to remove any blocks or straps that you have around you and allow yourself to get just a little bit more comfortable. Releasing any hold you had on your breath, rolling your shoulders up and back, palms up to the sky. And lying in your Shavasana for the next 5, 10, or 15 minutes. Afterward, gently waking yourself up again and offering some love and self-compassion for your practice. Namaste.